Hi everyone, this is Johnnyonoes, and I'm playing Osiris, the New Dawn, version 0.915. And in this Let's Learn episode, I'm going to go over 10 of the most useful tips I can come up with after playing the game for about 10 hours. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. The only beacon you're going to get before you start building is called your spawn position beacon. You can see the arrow and the distance from the beacon on the top left of your screen. To move this beacon around, all you have to do is find a spot that you'd like to build at, then go ahead and leave the game, hit main menu, hit yes, and when you jump back into the game, your new spawn beacon is going to be where you log in, allowing you to pick basically where your spawn beacon is and act as kind of your first beacon to depict where your home is. Now that you're back in the game, you can see that where you're standing is where the spawn position beacon is at. So use this to act as your first beacon in the game. While you're wandering the map looking for that perfect place to build, the 4 resources you want to look out for are iron, aluminum, magnesium, as well as hydrogen. So find a place that has at least 1 or 2, and if you're lucky, 3 of those resources nearby, because those are the resources that you're going to be having to gather the most. It's used for steel, as well as other components and buildings. So find a nice place that you can find all 3 or 4 of those resources. If you can get 2, great. If you can get 3, awesome. And if you get 4, let me know what the coordinates are. There are many dangerous creatures in Osiris. The one that gets me the most, normally when I'm like walking through a sandstorm or in the dark, are these little cacti. You can see that they're bright red. They've got really big spines on them. If you happen to run into one, you're gonna freak out. Your character's gonna reel away from it. You're gonna be like, oh my god, what's happening? Your suit's gonna breach. Luckily, you got your patch tape, put it together, but just keep an eye out for these, because they'll really freak you out if you're not aware of them. If you find yourself in a bad situation, which tends to happen when you die in this game, don't scoff at the chisel. The chisel is actually a decent melee weapon. Let's go ahead and take out this sceliopod here. Oh god. As you see, 1 hit took 50% of its life. And he's now starting to run away. So if you find yourself without a gun, without an assault rifle, you can easily use your chisel to take out creatures. So just jump right in front of them, give them a couple whacks. It will take out a sceliopod in 2 hits. It'll take out a gnat in maybe 3 or 4 hits. Altogether, it's a very fast melee weapon that is nothing to scoff at and can kill critters super fast without having to use ammo or any of that sort of thing. The droid you start off with in the beginning of the game is the most important piece of equipment that you're going to receive. Unfortunately, he's slow, and his aim is pretty terrible, and even if he does hit something, he does no damage, and then pulls aggro and then dies. There is no way to repair or revive this droid in the game as of 0.915. So the best thing for you to do with the droid is build yourself a depository next to a resource that you want to gather, and then set this guy to patrol and mine the node that you're looking for him to mine. He will go ahead and mine that resource without it going away. This resource will stay here perpetually while he digs at it. And once he's done mining, he'll go ahead and bring the resource over to this depository. So make sure to put him to work and keep him relatively far away from your colony. Because if he participates in a fight that either you've started or you've aggroed, he will get attacked in battle. But if not, he's relatively safe to go about his business, mining iron for the rest of his little life. If you do use the droid, if you select multi-tool, you'll actually get a different selection of options here. So without the tool, you have all the commands: stay, flank right, follow, and all that good stuff. If you select the multi-tool, you'll be able to open up his inventory. So I put some plutonium that I found in him on the way over to this build site. So the droid is very useful, and it's imperative that you keep him alive so that he can do the mining of a single resource for you. You're going to be doing a lot of walking, a lot of running in Osiris. The fastest way I've found to move about the map is to sprint, jetpack, hold down spacebar, and when you start falling, hold down shift. This will allow you to move about the map as fast as humanly possible. If you don't hold shift when you land, you're going to do kind of like this hero drop thing, which will kill your momentum. So make sure to sprint, then jump, and then as you're falling, start sprinting again. And try to sprint as little as possible so you don't wear your guy out. The other thing to notice is that if you have a weapon or an item equipped while you're moving, you'll move a lot slower. A lot slower. So always make sure that you have your item holstered. You just hit E to holster it while you're on the ground. You can't do it while you're in the air. So yeah, just make sure that your item is holstered before you start moving about the map. The other thing to take notice is when you hit tab, you got this hover fuel thing here. This does not go down. So do not worry about using too much of your hover fuel. You're never going to run out, at least in version 0.1 or 9.15. So go ahead and run about the map, find those resources, and find a great place to build with this ability to move about the map as fast as possible. As you progress in the game, you're going to end up having a lot of corpses near your colony. The easiest way that I found to clean up all these corpses is just raid the dead creature, and then throw away the meat to have both the creature's corpse despawn, as well as... There it goes, it melts into the ground in a creepy way. Look at that, that's so awesome. Oh! And if you move away from an item that's on the ground, it will also despawn. So if you've got a ton of meat in your inventory, it's gonna be taking up space. It's gonna weigh you down. Just drop it on the ground and then run away, and it will eventually despawn as you get further and further away. One of these days, you're gonna die. You're gonna either get killed, run out of food, run out of water. Don't fret. As soon as you jump back into the game, you have the ability of using your map tool and then clicking a button, and you'll get a location of where your dead body's at. So just pull out your map tool and give it a left click, and you'll get an indicator of where your dead body's at. So go get that corpse. When you find a rare resource, such as this carbon and hydrogen combo, this is exactly what you need to make plastics. So you just get as much hydrogen as you can and then get a little bit of carbon. You'll be able to make plastics all day. So when you find something like this, you're going to want to pull out your map tool and take down the coordinates of where you found this. This is the best way to take note of where things are before you have the ability of making beacons. So make sure to take down the degrees, write it down in a notepad, or, you know, use a pencil and paper maybe, and take note. And when you're ready to start putting beacons down, you can go ahead and go back and throw those beacons down, and then use the map tool to cycle through all of your beacon locations. If your droid happens to be destroyed during a fight, you can always relog back into the game to have him come back brand spanking new. So the droid is a very important piece of equipment that if you lose it, at least you have some way of bringing it back. And here he is, ready to do some more mining. Alright folks, so this is Johnnyonoes, and this video has been my top 10 tips to get started in Osiris the New Dawn. If you have any other questions about this game or any other the games I support, please go ahead and leave your questions in the comments below. Alright folks, you all have a great day, and see you all in the next episode.